What's going on, y'all? Apparently someone challenged Andrew Wilson to a boxing match. Sound crazy. It's supposed to be from Brian Shapiro. Let's see what's happening. You guys sent me this video to take a look at. Hold on, you said no matter where you move, if you move to another city, you'll never find quiet and peace. You gotta move somewhere in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, I was thinking about that. At least with like thicker walls, you know? Because the walls that we have here are like pretty thin. But then I feel like my neighbors do extra because it's like the speakers on this wall that we share. But it really is, the walls are thin as hell. So bare minimum somewhere with a thicker wall. 100%. He said, oh, this guy is a clown. Which one? CNN has a new owner. Good. About time they clean house. But yeah, honestly, I would like to move somewhere that's like very quiet. I think like a small town, or maybe be able to get a house or something. That's when I can actually maneuver and do certain things to make sure it's quiet. I just wish people had more, I guess you could say, respect for their neighbors.
Other debate, or, you know,
I wear headphones 24/7. I'm never blasting music. I don't know. I'm just different.
Independently dissecting a debate, what they do is they just put together a cartoon. And so here's what I did. Immediately, here's what I did. And you can go to my social media. I'm going to talk about this, right? So I challenged all of them to a real boxing fight.
That's
now, some people might not know this about me.
The Punch Out, like he was Glass Joe and Punch Out, and he got had boxing matches with Rob Knorr, Jay Dyer, and Myron Gaines. You know, and it was pretty good stuff. Well, Brian reacted to it, and by the way, check this out. Doesn't even know, misspelled. He misspelled backfires in the thumbnail. I don't know if you guys can see it, but he forgot to put in the C for backfires. So that's already an L right there.
Another story that I didn't want to take too much.
But yeah, Brian responded to it. Well, he responded to it on Twitter. He challenged him to boxing matches, specifically Rob and Andrew. Notice he didn't challenge Myron Gaines to a boxing match, right? He didn't challenge Myron Gaines, even though, oh yeah, Myron Gaines, he was a part of a gay sport. He was a rower. I was a tennis player. I was a regular Serena Williams.
Know how much endurance and strength it takes to row? You crazy? I had a trainer that made me do rowing to help me with my punches, right? To build endurance, I could punch longer. Intense. Get on that row machine at the gym. Talk that ish then.
But here we go. He's responding to the video.
Much time to talk about, but I did forget about it. For some of you that may or may not know, I've gotten into debates, conversations, even yesterday, between me and Andrew Wilson, who is a right-wing, evangelical, chain-smoking idiot, who probably is the most insecure person that I've ever spoken to in my life.
That's wild. Brian, to call anyone else insecure when this dude is like the king of insecurity, that's absolutely wild.
It does sound crazy.
And I've debated him, and I've debated a couple other people in his orbit that I just think are all despicable human beings.
Acts like a Christian, but he's not.
Yeah, he's a fake Christian. And I've talked.
Yeah, he's a fake Christian. Who says so? Me. I am the judge of who's a real Christian or not. It goes in the book of Brian. I can judge. Thank you very much, Nate, for the $5. Bryce Chat is a fucking idiot. Rob would clean his clock. Yeah, no, absolutely 100% correct. Thank you very much, Nate, for the $5, brother.
About this before, but that's here nor there. So a friend of mine, Sean, I do his talk show once in a while, and it's where I do some of these debates outside of this studio. Sean sends me a text. He goes, hey, did you see that Andrew Wilson did a cartoon about you? I said, oh, again? Because he's done this before, because the guy's like obsessed with me. Like, I'll tweet something out and it takes like 5 seconds, right? I'll just call him a name or something, whatever. The guy actually took the time to get voiceover work, and somebody did a cartoon about me. And I want to play it for you, and then I want to talk a little bit.
You can't say someone's obsessed with you when you're taking shots at them first. It sounds great.
About it. I'll be honest with you. The first time I saw this, I laughed at it, and then I said to myself, "How pathetic of an adult do you have to be to take the time?"
Be like
obsessed. He's very much obsessed with me.
He's very Brian focused.
Yeah, very Brian focused. This is the cartoon that Andrew Wilson put together about me on his social media platforms. Watch this.
I mean, it's just that you're very funny to make fun of. You're quite the character, Brian. Again, I don't even want to believe that you're real, that you're a real person, because you're just so out there, you know? I mean, you literally walked up to a lady the other day who was wearing a Trump voodoo doll, and you're like, I would urinate on that. Who says that?
You hear what you're saying?
That does sound crazy.
You're not tougher than me, okay? You're not smarter than me. I'm sure a lot of people tell you that you're really smart, but you're not smarter than me, okay?
You got what it takes, Brian.
You think so?
You're going to look good out there. We're going to look good out there.
I believe that. As a matter of fact, I know that.
I'm looking at you right now and I see a champion.
Thank you.
But if you lose,
well, I don't.
Shut up.
That's funny as hell. Hey, what's up, Stu?
God forbid you lose.
Is that supposed to be one of the loan sharks that he's allegedly been in trouble with? How long, Nate? Thank you very much for the $5. 7 more chance to go. At least defend Bryce Chat with $5. Yes, thank you very much, Nate. And thank you very much, FB, for the $4.99. Brian is a cream puff in real life. Yes, Dean. Thank you very much, FB.
Yeah.
Very much appreciated. Now we only got 6 more to go. I was laughing at Rob's comment to this because Rob was like, I was the only one with the shirts. I think this is a real wake-up call. I was like, poor Rob. Poor Rob.
Ryan Shapiro?
That dance though was pretty epic. I missed that.
Hero?
Oh, that's funny. Training for no reason. At this point, you training just to get whooped on. And you're like, why are you even stepping in the ring? For what? Why are you doing that to yourself? That sounds insane. But this is probably something that he would do.
I like how his punches barely touch the bag. Like they barely just graze the bag. It doesn't even do anything. It's like the little things always make me laugh. Thank you very much, Airborne Animal, for the $5. Destiny is not and never was a good debater. He's just a Spurg master and a logical fallacy salad shooter, to borrow an Andrewism, not one step back. Hell yeah, not one step back, brother. And thank you very much, Fernandez T, for the $6. Wow, $6. I never seen that amount before. One thing I know for sure from 52 years experience as an LA thug is that when someone accuses you of something, it's because they are guilty of it. Yeah, 100%, Fernandez. Thank you very much. Now we only got 4 more to go. Hell yeah. Like, look at that. Barely touching the bag.
Yeah, that's not even how you supposed to hit a speed bag in the first place. You about to get whooped on.
And then notice here in the audience.
Punch out.
You got Warren Smith. And then I don't know, who are these two people supposed to be down here? I'm like, I know there's, and then there's Z/Zer in the crowd too. Bro.
That's crazy. That's one point. That's funny as hell, bro.
That Andrew Wilson laugh is just like epic. Like that is just the most epic thing. Like I love it.
Anyway, there you go. That's the. I guess that's Andrew Wilson, the referee.
You know what the mags would be saying?
Yeah, there you go.
If you put out a video like that, they would be going to hell and back trying to convince everyone that you're promoting violence and that they were afraid of you. And he put out a video of his.
It's a cartoon. Oh my gosh. You crying about a cartoon? Like, what's going on? He said Glass Joe.
Showing him being violent. That's what you see what I'm saying? See the double standard there? So, because they would definitely play victim on this.
So the first time I saw it, I was like,
we wouldn't care. Brian put out a stupid video of him beating up Andrew Wilson and Rob Noor and all these people. We wouldn't really care. Now if it got disgusting, like you ripped off Rob's shirt, demanded to see his penis, and then urinated on him after knocking him out, well then we'd be a little like, dude, that's freaking weird. That's freaking weird. And then, in the video you went and you told off Rachel and called her a bitch and all these things. Then, I'd be like, oh, that's a little weird. But if it was just like this, no one would care, Brian.
Laughing. And then I was thinking of how pathetic these people are, that they have to put together like some sort of cartoon because they're so upset that I embarrass them in these debates. So instead of asking for an.
Wow.
Do you think he really believes he embarrasses these people in these debates? Do you really think he believes that? By the way, thank you very much, Cartoon Parody, for the $4.99. Making fun of me, huh? Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much for the $4.99, brother.
Another debate, or independently dissecting a debate. What they do is they just put together a cartoon. And so here's what I did. Immediately, here's what I did. And you can go to my social media. I'm going to talk about this, right? So
they say he loses every debate. It seemed like the way he be acting. I've never even seen him debate.
So this is wild what he's about to say. Like, it just, we'll watch.
Oh, I challenged all of them to a real boxing fight. Now, some people might not know this about me. I am no longer in the shape that I was in my 20s.
By the way, let me pull this up really fast. I'm no longer the shape that I was in my 20s. He makes it sound like he was like super buff or something like that. This was him in his 20s, I think. I think he was in his.
What's up, Easy there? He said he's the Colt Bros. That's what their name should be.
20s here.
The Copers.
This is him right there. Look at the top screen. That's him. I think it's in his 20s. Look at him. Does he look like he was in shape here? Again, he just looks more skinnier. Like the arms.
That nigga look the same. He look more frail. Like he might do better now, actually. This is me in my 20s. That's what my 20s look like. Early 20s, too. That's me sending this nigga on a trip. All expense paid.
Just look even noodlier, right? If that's even a word.
Noodly.
Does he look like a man that's in shape?
More stringy.
This look like a man who is in shape in his 20s. Like if he was super fit. Honestly, I would have busted out laughing if he would have been like, yeah, little people don't know this about me, but I was actually like a Golden Gloves champion. I would have been like, what? But yeah, does this look like him in shape? He just looks even skinnier. Round is a shape. That is true. That is true.
I did play 2 college sports in my late teens, early 20s. I did do a very little bit of amateur boxing when I was in my early 20s. Not a lot, but I am extremely confident that if I had.
He did some boxing. Oh, come on now. Does anybody believe that he done any boxing whatsoever?
No.
Maybe he used to work at Amazon and he used to box the shipments. Maybe that's what he means. Yeah, I used to do a little bit of boxing. I would put the thing in the box and I'd box it up. That was me doing a little boxing. And then at Christmas time, I had a job doing gift wrapping. That was me boxing. I would box it up. Thank for the $5. Point of privilege. Stop Price Chat from using his list. Trans women are offended.
You say you could tell by the neck. That's what's that mean? You said you could tell by the neck? What does that mean? It's like a beast. Hey. No, I do FB. No, I get down. And honestly, I did that just because I was talking shit to a friend when we went to go watch the MMA matches. I was like, I could probably whip that guy. He's like, go up there and tell him that. And I did. And we set it up for like a week later, and I whipped that guy.
By his cultural appropriation. That's funny, Nate. Thank you very much for the $5. But yeah, I think that's what he made. Yeah, shadow boxing.
Yeah, he don't got no traps. That is true. Yeah, no traps. I got too much traps and shoulders.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Brian box to see the guys without their shirts. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, UPS.
I want to start.
Yeah, put the things in the box.
I'm contemplating it. I might do it. I ain't gonna go too crazy though. Maybe with the deadlifts, but everything else, I'm not gonna go too heavy. I just miss lifting weights, and I like the feeling of it.
That's what I did. That's what I did for boxing. I refuse to believe. Show me the footage of this guy boxing.
A couple months to get into some.
It would be like when Homer became a boxer, and in The Simpsons. And remember, like he punched the fly, and then he moved his glove, and the fly just flew off, like it did nothing.
Nah, that's
the fly
crazy.
That
Good.
Is that his joint skipping like that? Yeah, it's his. That's his thing.
Eat better and exercise and maybe do a little bit of training. So
maybe lay off the corn, maybe the corn and the weed or whatever else you do. I don't know if he does weed, but the way he called Kai and Jackson, oh, you guys are boring. You guys have boring lives.
Nothing wrong with that green. I'm on that green and these hands work, okay? I showed a clip of me doing a Muay Thai match earlier in a different stream.
But yeah, you'd have to lay off that stuff, the vices.
I offered the challenge to Rob Noor. And listen, let me be clear.
I'd pay to see that.
I know a lot of people. I'm mentioning some of these names. You don't know who the hell they are, and that's understandable. But a couple of those guys, Andrew Wilson and Rob Noor, I challenged them to a 3-ring fight, boxing. We're wearing headgear, of course. We don't want anybody to get seriously hurt. I challenged them to an actual real fight. What do you think they said?
They said, "Oh, you're being violent, Brian, and you're trying to make it political violence." I know exactly what they're going to say.
So,
man, that guy's the worst. No, they did not say anything like that. But this guy is probably.
If I challenged him, you think he'd say yes? Come on, like he would say no, and I wouldn't even blame him. It would be horrible if he was to say the opposite, right? But don't try to make it seem like you some super tough guy, nigga. You over here built like Screech from Saved by the Bell.
The most annoying co-host, right? The guy,
not the real actor, Screech.
He looks like the dude from Beetlejuice.
They're going to find any way they can to get out of it.
This surprised me. So I'm DMing Andrew Wilson last night, and I just asked him. I said, would you like to do a 3-round boxing fight, and any ticket sales we sell, all the money we make from the stream would go to charity?
Right? I would pay.
I'm not doing it for money. And then
I'd have said, no, you got to pay me. You got to pay me. You want to see these hands.
He made an excuse of his age, and it turns out, and by the way, Andrew Wilson looks like crap for his age. Do you know Andrew Wilson is like 4 years younger than me?
He smokes like...
So I did the math because I was like, Andrew's like 42 years old. So that means Brian's 46. So there you go. That's the official age of Bryshap. He's 46 years old. Cartoon Parody, thank you very much for $4.99. I bragged about kicking a car when I debated Andrew. Am I a tough guy or what? Thank you very much for the $4.99. I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
And then he said he made an excuse of his age, and it turns out, and by the way, Andrew Wilson looks like crap for his age. Do you know Andrew Wilson is like 4 years younger than me?
He smokes like 4.
Okay, that's his joint that's acting like that, guys. That's not mine. His shit.
Of course, he declined. Of course, Rob.
You feel
declined.
like you pussied out? Be honest.
Yeah.
All right. I was like, I'm still connected, right? Okay, cool.
Wouldn't really use that terminology, but I would say that he definitely wussied out.
My bad.
So what was that? TOS for the radio? By the way, Brian does like use a filter on himself, because notice how it's always He uses this filter where it's always like everything's black and white and gray, and then his face is all color. And then look at his co-host right here, who I'm assuming is like right next to him. Totally different color. Like, what's going on there? Are they using different lighting or something for each other? 6G, thank you very much for the $1.99. Brian would start crying as soon as he got hit. Yeah, I think so too. Thank you very much, 6G. And thank you very much, Nate, for the 10. I volunteer as tribute for both fights. Nice. Thank you very much, Nate, for the 10. And thank you very much, FB, for the $4.99. Wait, does this idiot actually believe Andrew?
At the same FB? Okay, shout outs to FB, man. Good person.
Wilson and Rob are scared of Brian. Brian could have feed an egg. Yeah, exactly. It's just all cope. Like, of course, he's like, well, I'm going to challenge him to a fight, and then I'm going to call him a wussy if they don't accept it. It's just all cope. It's just, see, look, I'm a tough guy. But really, like,
what was the full statement? He said, wait, does this idiot believe Angie Wilson and Rob are scared of Brian? Brian could
challenge him to a fight.
You said he couldn't feed an egg. That's crazy.
And then I'm going to call him a wussy if they don't accept.
I don't think this dude is beating nobody. Like, him to sit here and act like Mr. Tough Guy looks insane to me. In fact, it's pure comedy.
Yeah. It's just all cope. It's just, see, look, I'm a tough guy. But really, can Brian beat up anybody?
You said, yeah, BX Beast Boy W. Appreciate the heck out of the support, FB. Word. I was like, oh, snap, that's FB.
And I would say that I gave him the opportunity.
Thank you again for the support.
To have a real box, and I would gladly do it.
He's not boxing.
I would gladly.
Did he agree to come on the show and debate you again? I mean, does he need to warm up with me? Tell him he can warm up with me.
I don't really care.
Say, look, Leonard.
Yeah, I don't care about debating him.
We know you don't want to be embarrassed. I'm going to give you my co-host but
I don't care about debating him again because he's bad faith debater. But
yeah, bad faith debater. So Brian's down to fight him in a boxing ring, but he's not down to debate him again, huh? Pretty telling, huh? Pretty telling. Yeah, listen, I'll fight you, but I'm not going to engage with you in the mental fight of ideas.
That just shows that he doesn't have the intelligence to do it. I don't think he got the skill to do a boxing match either. Telling us you box amateur. Stop it. So I could tell. I could tell from the way you sitting. I could tell from the way you was standing. You don't box. You don't box, bro. You ain't got it, Chief. So these guys are not athletes. They're in 40s. They're going to pull some ish. They're not going to be able to walk the next day if they fight. Not even worth watching. Not as facts. Shoot, even I'm getting older, bro. I know it's going to be a sacrifice. Last time I got into a scuffle, I put in that work. My back was on fire. I was like, oh my gosh, that's what I get from laying off my regular boxing training and my Muay Thai training, Jiu-Jitsu training. So now I try to still do workouts from all the martial arts that I've done. Sure, y'all seen, I took my little brother out there and we threw the gloves on, dropped him with a body shot. Ha! I try to stay sharp. He don't got it. That's facts. That's big facts. He does not have it in anything that he does.
By the way, thank you guys very much. We've completed that super chat goal. Hell yeah.
Everybody, we just crossed it. $10,000. Our super chat goal is officially smashed. Woo! You made this happen. Every single one of you in the chat, every name that popped up on that board.
Yeah.
All right. And then, let's see. What did I say? Oh, yeah, I'm going to dive into money.
Wild, a whole pool of cash right below me. 3, 2, 1. Woohoo! It's raining money. Oh man, this is insane. Best day ever.
AI is crazy. That's some wild ish.
Thank you guys very much. Just restarted that goal. Let's see if we can do it again, shall we? Rob weighs twice what he does. Andrew at least 50 pounds heavier. Jay is like 6'3". Reach and weight alone, he didn't have under the ring. Yeah. Exactly. Like I said, notice how he didn't challenge Myron Gaines at all. Notice how he didn't take Jacob on his offer. That's weird, huh? It's kind of weird.
The fact of the matter is that they both wussied out. I tweeted at him, and then I sent him direct messages. And then I said, do you play any sports at all? Like, we could shoot hoops. I hoop once in a while, basketball, deck hockey.
I hoop once in a while. Yeah, I hoop.
You do anything except for debate. So I'll play chess. We could do some hoops. You know what I mean? You want to play some Jenga? Get that going. Some crosswords. You know what I mean? Yahtzee. We could play Trouble. We could play what's the game from the movie? What is the game from the movie? Jumanji. Want to play Jumanji? Anything except for a debate. Hopscotch. You want to do hopscotch?
Once in a while, yeah. You guys play some hoops? I hoop once in a while. Do you guys ever hoop? I hoop. Hoop-a-doo.
I tweeted at him, and then I sent him direct messages. And then I said, do you play any sports at all? Like, we could shoot hoops. I hoop once in a while, basketball, deck hockey, golf even. And then he says, we could shoot. And I said, oh, okay. Let's do a shooting match. And then he's asking for all this money.
I would love to play golf. I never played it before. I'm going to do it like Happy Gilmore. It's all in the hips. It's all in the hips. My bad.
Money. Well, it turns out he wanted to shoot a gun. That was his sport.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to do that.
I'm sure you would destroy him. But listen, he's not interested in any real physical combat in any way, shape, or form. He just pays somebody to make cartoons. Very.
So imagine poor Andrew now. Now he has to deal with Brian, and now Brian's.
I'm gonna do the Happy Gilmore swing and all that. Go crazy. Like I'm playing baseball the way
I'm pretty sure Andrew was just like, geez, now I have to fucking message this guy. And Brian's in your DMs like, do you even play sports, bro? Do you even hoop? Huh? Do you even exercise? Do you even touch grass, bro? I power walk 1 mile a day, huh? What do you do? What do you
challenge him to triathlon?
You do? You just sit there and chain smoke, huh?
A swimming race.
You just sit there and chain smoke and act all misogyny, huh? Huh? I could play hoops. I was a tennis star. Golden Gloves. Stolen Valor.
Bizarre.
You said Andrew doesn't act like a brawler, though. This guy does try to act like a tough guy. It's crazy. And that's true. I don't see Andrew on here talking like he about to throw hands ever. So just buying the equipment looks interesting. All the types of clubs. Yeah, I would like to try it. But like, is it easy to get into a golf? I thought about a different type of club when you said clubs. I'm thinking about golf clubs, like a club to get in so you could play. It's probably hard to get into those, right? Said mixed good starter, mid range, a Dunlop. Never heard of that. Hey, what's up, medium? So just heading to bed now. Hey, hope the stream goes well. I appreciate that. Thank you for the support, for showing up and showing love.
I would say the behavior is a little bit bizarre, but anyway, that was the cartoon that he put out there. And of course, his sicko cultist fans love it. These are mostly divorced men, middle-aged men who hate women. And I asked.
That's crazy.
What's this on my finger then, huh? My wedding ring? And I hate women, huh? Oh, gee. I'm not divorced. I don't hate women. What's he talking about? I would say most of the Crucible are married people, married men specifically. What is he talking about?
I asked Andrew, I said, Andrew, why do you hate women so much last night? And he wouldn't give me an honest answer. I said, you really hate women. And
yeah, so imagine now he's in freaking Andrew's DMs now, just going off like, do you even play any sports? Why do you hate women?
Yeah, it's crazy to go from let's box to why do you hate women? And he wouldn't respond. I don't know why. Because you're a Looney Tune. Why would I want to talk to you at all, let alone in my DMs?
Women. You really hate women, huh? Why do you hate women? Just going off. And I bet you Andrew was just like, what have I done? What have I done?
Then his wife came into the picture. I've said some not so nice things about his wife. And by the way, I stand by everything I said about his wife. I'm debating her, and if it gets personal, I'll say those things again about her. I really don't care.
Wow.
And then I sent him some pictures of.
Why do you hate women? Why do you hate women so much? Are you talking to a woman like that? He didn't answer, guys. Clearly, he hates women. He didn't talk to me through the screen. He hates women, guys. Yeah, that's crazy.
My genitals. Don't make assumptions. I'm a widower. Well, sorry to hear about that, DeFallen. I didn't say everyone is married. I said most. That's what I said. But sorry to hear that, DeFallen. Yeah, married 14 years, 22 years married.
That's what's up.
Strong woman.
Nothing wrong with that. So Brian's audience are the same people that cheered what happened to Charlie Kirk. That's messed up. You say he shouldn't be acting like his audience is so great. Nah, that sounds like disgusting work right there. That's nasty work.
When Andrew has said a lot of the audience is married women who get their husbands into it, yeah. Didn't he tell Andrew to apologize to Rachel for him? Wait, what? Didn't he tell Andrew to apologize? Oh, yeah, exactly. But it's funny, he's sitting there calling Andrew like a misogynist and he hates women and such. But then Brian has no problem going into Rachel's messages and telling her off and being, quite frankly, just despicable. If I were Brian, I'd be like, he was just being despicable to her. What kind of man goes into a woman's DMs, a married woman's DMs, and starts messaging her such violent, hateful things?
Yeah, that's weird.
And he won't apologize for it. He's like, I'm not going to apologize for that. I would say it again.
His wife, and by the way, I stand by everything I said about his wife. I'm debating her, and if it gets personal, I'll say those things again about her. I really don't care. And then I sent.
You mean if you start losing, then you're going to start saying those things? Because I highly doubt it's going to be. It's not going to be Rachel. It's going to go personal first. It's pretty much going to be Brian who's going to start losing, and then he's going to resort to his personal attacks. Oh, aren't you a baby? Don't you have three? Don't you have baby daddies? Huh?
Some pictures of some of the lovely ladies that I was hanging out with last week in San Diego. He called them all hookers, which, by the way,
you said, watch the interview with Nancy Grace did on Sean Hannity podcast. It was really interesting, to be honest. If you decide to watch it, I'll be interested to see what your opinion is of the interview. I don't know much about that person, so I don't know if I'll be like the most informed on Sean Hannity. I would not. I had to look him up just now. Wanted to see who that was. Yeah, I don't know much about him.
So now Brian is messaging Andrew. This is the wild part. So Brian messages Andrew a picture of him hanging out with women. Like, look at me, Andrew. Look at Brian Shat. Yeah, hanging out with the ladies. And Andrew called them hookers, which they most likely were. Hookers or strippers. Had to be one of them.
About her, I really don't care. And then I sent him some pictures of some of the lovely ladies that I was hanging out with last week in San Diego. He called them all hookers, which, by the way, they're not.
That's so MAGA, though. That is so MAGA.
I just said you.
That's so MAGA? What? That's so what? We just call women hookers? No, we're saying that the women that Brian probably took pictures with and sent to Andrew were most likely probably hookers. You really expect to believe that Brian hangs out with women? No. Let alone one woman, but he's hanging out with women. By the way, isn't he dating somebody? Wasn't he? He's like, oh yeah, my partner. They're a MAGA conservative. What happened? Did they break up? Is Brian cheating on that girl now, or guy? I don't know who he's dating. Or is he cheating on them with these hookers, potential hookers, alleged strippers, whatever they are? But come on, they have to be being paid. Seriously, they have to be being paid. You really expect me to believe that a group of women are going to be hanging with Brian?
He's not wrong.
You enjoy your wife, Rachel Wilson, and her 3 baby daddies. It sounds like a wonderful life you're living, Andrew, of debating people, smoking cigarettes indoors with your microphone, and hanging out with Rachel. It sounds like a lot of fun. And he got very jealous, and he called my friends hookers, and that was really the end of the conversation. It's the DM conversation is actually quite funny. I was going to release it publicly, but I'll hold off on it a little bit. But anyway, That's what happened
Well,
yesterday.
I'll take a shooting match against him. Then
Imagine I said, probably thought he was a cop. That's. He's like, okay, officer, just don't lock us up. Don't try to get a freebie.
just quickly. So the Citizens Academy alumni, they used to have a Citizens Academy every year for the police department that I work for. They used to have a shoot to raise money every year.
Yeah.
And I won it so many years in a row. This is a true story. I won it so many years in a row. They put $100 bounty on my head for the next shoot to see if anyone could beat me. And of course, I didn't. Andrew Wilson wants to, get macho and go to the range and
macho.
see who gets a better score. I say, let's go. We'll film it and we'll post it.
But anyway, I can tell you that I'm not taking the time to pay somebody to make cartoons about Andrew. I'm not taking the time to write up a script about Andrew.
No, you're hanging out with girls in San Diego and
that I was trying to make with him. It's like I have better things to do than make cartoons about you. And
flaunting him.
And the reason why I brought that up.
This giant glitch.
I mean, why were you in the streets of Carlsbad at the No Kings protest just by yourself? There's all these women there, Why didn't you go hang out with these women? Huh? They're your actual friends if you're not just paying them to hang out with you. Airborne Animal for the $5 with how...
So why are they fighting in the first place? Because he can't handle losing. He lost a debate and he can't handle it. He can't take it.
Wound up he is. You can tell that Brian hasn't been late in years. Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much, Airborne Animal, for the $5. Very much appreciated. Jesus Christ, Brian is absolutely fucking pathetic. Yeah.
Up is because Andrew had said that he said this publicly that he refuses to be friends with any women, and he just hates women. And I realize the people out there that usually hate women are usually the women that give them no attention, that hate them back.
Very insecure. Very unsure of themselves.
Yeah. So anyway, that's that. That's the cartoon.
Yeah, that sounded nuts.
Yeah. So there you go. That was Brian coping and seething over the Crucible cartoon, challenging into a fight, and then harassing Andrew on the DMs. Look at these hookers I'm hanging out with. Look at these ladies. What, you're calling them hookers? Well, that's very MAGA of you. Of course you think all these women are hookers. Well, it's probably because they are, Brian. No, I don't have...
We should check the debate. Send it to me. If it's not too long, pause. I don't mind checking it out. Might not do it this stream, but why not check it out? He said I did share it to the Discord section as a topic. The interview is a little long. I might check it off stream because I don't know much about that person at all. Like, I don't know anything about them. So I would be very, very in the dark. I just have to look them up now. I don't think I've ever watched them. Not before.
I had the picture of these ladies, but
I'll try to get informed.
Pretty sure they're either exotic dancers or they're hookers. It's one of the two. Okay. No way in hell is Brian hanging out with a bunch of women and they're hanging out with them willingly. And I don't think Brian is balling out that much where they're at least hanging out with him because he's rich. Okay. So, it has to be hookers, allegedly. But what did you guys think about this? Sound off in the comment section.
Allegedly.